Hello, randos, and welcome back to the next portion of Nick's section of Durian's tale. I have entered into the what I thought were just like a boxing mat fighting pit. I was brought down by Lucius Grave, who owns the fighting pits, and he just talked my ear off. He just used car salesman, got me down here, got me fixed up, got me into the pit, and I ended up squaring off with a chain devil, I believe is what you called it. And so it went fantastically. The crowd roaring for Durian. He felt them. Their energy energized him, and he destroyed that thing no problem. However, just as I was about to taste victory, a rift opened up into the arena, and I am now facing some sort of giant black knight. And I'm not quite sure what to make of it yet. So I'm excited to toss it back over to Nick and see what's going to happen.
So, Durian, as you see again, this creature had seemed to cut a rift in the air itself, this black and purple space that it stepped through, beyond which looked to be just an endless void. Again, towering almost 12 feet tall, just every inch of him covered in this black metal plate that again looks as if it was cast from molten shadow. It's like drinking in the light of the magma around it. And he's turned, and his red eyes glowing in his helm center themselves right upon you as you get this little tiny grin on your, just the littlest smirk, as you prepare yourself. And this creature says,
Durian, the battle bard, I presume.
Indeed. And I take a deep royal bow in front of him.
Well, I myself am a bit of a bard. My name is Scald, emissary of the Shadow King. And you have something of his.
My eyes immediately glance down at the pommel of the blink blade.
My master doesn't want that trinket. He wants the heart. You are not worthy of its gifts. And so, I am here to take it and return with the heart of a dying bard in another box.
Well, you can tell your king that he possesses something that is dear to me.
Something? Or someone?
That triggers something in Durian, and you can see he has to like wipe away this anger. He looks down, takes a deep breath, and looks back, and he says, "If you want the heart, you will bring me Mac."
I find it amusing that you think you are in a place of negotiation.
and as this is happening, there's mayhem up above. People are like running around. Anyone that works there looks to be like trying to figure out what's happening, and you see, you hear the announcer actually kind of trying to figure out what's happening, chiming in from up above, and says,
Folks, don't panic. We have it under control. Security, please escort this interloper from the pit.
and you see literally like dozens of these security guards from all over the arena start to like pull out these like shock batons and start rushing towards the arena as this has been happening. And you see this figure which called himself Scald looks around and sort of just chuckles.
No. This fight is between you and I, Durian.
No, stay back, please, no!
He slams his sword down into the stone, and from it shoots this black and purple beam up into the air. And as you scream, like, no, don't, it hits the top of, it goes up about like 40 feet and then shoots out like a dome, sinking all around you, completely encompassing the fighting pit. And as you say, no, don't, you see one of the guards like rushes down and he goes to like run through this, and his body disintegrates. Nothing but a black skeleton falls through on the other side. And at that, all of the other guards like back up. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Where were we? Hand over the heart, and I'll allow you to live long enough to see your friend again.
You will have to pry it from my dead, cold fingers. And I ready my gauntlet for another charge. Yes, the catcher. I ready my gauntlet for another charge as I'm preparing myself for another attack from him.
And as you do, you see it, and you like go to flex, and you just see it starts to like almost like blink out of existence, and then is just gone. And you remember when you spoke to Lucian before the fight that he talked about needing to use the items quickly. And I will say, in response to you saying that, he says,
I was hoping you'd say that.
and he doesn't charge wildly. He doesn't scream and shout. He just blinks out of existence. And then suddenly, Durian, you feel that battle instinct of yours, this mass, this presence coming into existence behind you as he teleports. And you turn around just in time to see his massive blade swinging down towards you. Now, I know normally in Quest, the player acts first, but this boss has the ability to use his teleport strike to gain the first attack. So he is going to make not one, but two attacks on you using his extra attack feature.
Oh, God. Oh, God. What am I going to do?
Okay. The first attack, I am going to say, is the one that... I rolled twice, and I realized I should have rolled one first, but the first attack was a 19.
Okay.
It caught you completely off guard. You were like, it was that momentary, like you looked, you saw the gauntlet disappear, you heard him say, I was hoping you'd say that, and then suddenly he's behind you, swinging this massive blade down at you.
Sure.
And you are going to take 4 damage.
Okay. So with my shield, it takes its last bit of impact, and it tries momentarily to keep the blade from hitting my body, and then it is just erupts in these blue shards and musical notes and flats and sharps as it just blasts away, and I take it into the shoulder, and it actually ends up dealing 3 damage.
Yeah, so the way it like is a slash across you, and so that all these notes, they scatter, and that like etched leather armor of yours underneath gets cut open, and you feel the blade just sink into your flesh as he swings. However, with his second attack as he comes back, you're ready for it this time. I got a tough choice.
Okay.
So, do you decide to use your counterattack first, or do I have to decide what their tough choice is?
Story-wise, I think I'm not going to counterattack this round, only because I feel like this is a massive blow, and I feel like I'm just going to let you do your thing that you want to do, because I feel like it will be more interesting.
Okay, so he is going to take his 2 setbacks, which is going to be you go to attack, or he goes to attack you with that first swing down. However, as you are able to like regain yourself, you like pull your axe out just in time, that you're able to block the attack. You like hold it up and slide it up the blade. It was gonna go right through your shoulder. With this setback, though, what I'm going to say is he's going to deal 2 damage to you as this sinks in, but you slide the axe up and you're able to like twist it to go around the hilt and sink your axe into his wrist, and he's going to take 2 damage.
Okay.
That's going to be his setback. He's going to take that damage in exchange for dealing that 2 against you.
Cool. We share this damage.
Yeah.
Great.
And he just leans in close.
I will cut your heart out myself, Bard.
This all happened in an instant.
Oh, yeah.
My life was about to be like extinguished, but luckily, out of instinct, I was able to deflect this blow, and I am on the back foot at the moment. Durian, he's not in this position very often, so I first want to look around and see if the arena has returned to its original state or there's still lava emanating from the ground.
It has not returned to its normal state yet. And it seems like there's chaos in the stadium, but like some people left. They ran away screaming when that skeleton fell through. But the people that are there are committed. They're like, I'm here for this. Mm-hmm. And they're like, now they're like roaring and cheering. And you see like somehow the way the technology works in here, your face up there next to this guy's like helm. And the crowd is like rallying for you. And you see the announcer up ahead, like looking down in panic. And you see he's got all these like levers up there in this like glass podium that he's in.
Hang on, Durian. I'll see what we can do to help you out.
You see like he pulls something and the lever, like you hear all these gears and like you see the lava is like draining. And magically, again, this combination of magic and technology, the rocks start to coalesce and reform together, and like sand begins pouring up out of these like grates, returning this place to its sort of standard setting. And you get the sense like he's trying to decide what to do next to best give you an advantage. But right now, he's put it back to like its standard set.
Okay, so if I can, and you can say no, as things are coalescing back together into its original state, I would like to see if I can trap his leg in the closing gaps. Mm-hmm. So if I can, I want to drag my axe by his ankle and see if I can drag it to one of the holes just as it starts to close up around it.
Okay. Yeah, let's see. Give me a roll on it. Let's see what happens.
11. That's close.
Okay. That is close. So for folks at home, an 11 is a success. No compromises. Here's the question. So you're trying to do more of a... You're not trying to do as much damage as you are trying to Okay, here's how we'll make this work. You're going to deal half damage.
So I'll deal 1.
That's 1 point.
Mm-hmm.
You'll deal 1 damage to him, but you are able to put him in this tight spot. So you swing your axe in. Mm-hmm. He wasn't expecting... He's pretty large, but you've got this like low center of gravity. Mm-hmm. You swing with all your might, and instead of... He was expecting your axe to like come blade against his that shin guard, and you're like looking right at one of those screaming faces on his knee. But instead, you like miss on purpose and immediately pull to yank him. And it only pulls him about a foot, but a foot was all you needed as his foot falls into the lava and sinks as the stone starts to form around it. So I will say he is immobilized for the moment, and he does take, let me make sure I write that down, 1 point of damage.
Perfect. That's what I'm going for. And then I think using some movement, I want to get space since he is now considered immobile. I want to get away from him so I can now regroup and maybe perhaps go back in for another attack later.
So you are able to rush away from him. And considering you are actually at the top of the round because he went first, can you roll me a D8?
Yes, I can, in fact.
And just re-roll if you get a 4.
I'll re-roll because I got a 4. I'll re-roll because I got a 4 again. Waited. That was 3 4s in a row, dude. Okay.
Holy. Okay.
If I get another one.
Good shape.
Yeah. If I get another one, we're changing dice. Here we go.
Yeah.
7.
Okay. Ooh, okay. You see now that he's in control, and this isn't like random. They're trying to do what they can to help you out against this foe.
Of course.
You see the announcer pulls this lever, and coming up out of the ground next to you is one of those floating boxes, just like waiting for you.
I glance at him, and a shock of fear runs up my spine because I'm in a predicament. I don't know what I'm going to do here. I've never faced anything like this before. And this glowing blue box is floating next to me, and I reach my hand into the box.
All right. And so I know you've already used your action for the turn, but I'll reveal what you see inside. The wooden crates fall around, and you see just floating there this dark crystal orb about the size of an orange with what looks like this like little volatile magical charge at its center. All right, so we'll return to Scald. He like looks down at his foot.
Clever. You bards are always been a tricky bunch. Perhaps when the Shadow King is done here, he'll come for your isle next.
And he takes his sword, and he's going to use his whole attack this turn to basically carve his foot out from the stone as he pulls it out, and you just see he shakes the leg forward. And let me go ahead and see. All right, his teleport does not recharge, so he just starts not running, very calmly,
Sure,
walking in your direction, sword out.
all I see is the Tower Knight from Demon Souls. That's all I see. This giant thing, just like.
Yeah.
Okay, so as he begins to walk towards me, he mentioned the Isle of the Bards, and I'm quickly in my mind, I'm thinking, no one knows how to get there other than the Bards. It's impossible. Though I didn't know about the Infinite City. Perhaps the Bards aren't as prepared as they thought. And I reach over and grab the gem.
And as you do, you see like circling around it, like writing on the like inscriptions on the orb. You see it says Wraithfire Bomb, and the crowd starts cheering Wraithfire, Wraithfire, as they are all incredibly excited, because as you go to grab it too, it like a holographic image of it floats from up above and shows everyone what you have. You can see now too, there look to be like magic users on the sides, like using some sort of like welding things, trying to like get through whatever this dome is that's keeping them out.
Okay, it's called a Wraith Firebomb.
Yep.
So my assumption is this is a firebomb. It's a grenade of some sort. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to hurl it at this giant figure walking towards me.
Okay. Make an attack roll. And don't get a 1.
Oh God. Not 20! Not 20!
Oh shit.
I swear, I'll take a picture. I swear to God.
Okay.
I never cheat my dice rolls.
Okay. You hear him say, maybe we'll come for the Isle of the Bards next. And you get a picture. He actually like you feel this telepathic burst in your head, images of the Isle of the Bards falling to shadow and flame. Very much Frodo looking into the mirror of Galadriel, seeing the scouring of the Shire. You see creatures of shadow tearing down everything, and your people in chains. And you look up and you look at this orb that you're holding in your hand, and you lob it like you've never like chucked anything before. And this guy is just like walking towards you, and you throw it. Remember, I described he had this like maw of like a screaming visage on his armor. And as you throw it, it hits, and there's like basically you can see the armor there has like plates that allow him to move.
Sure.
And as he's like rushing towards you, he brings up the huge flamberge in this like big arcing swing, opening up the perfect hole there. And you chuck it in a way that like there's no other angle that you ever could have gotten it up in there. And it tink, and he's like holding it up.
What was that supposed to do something?
before he can finish it, because you just heard this like ting, 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 as the Wraith Firebomb detonates from inside the armor of Scald, dealing double damage. So instead of dealing 4 damage, this is going to deal 8 damage. Creatures touched by this flame take 4 damage and writhe in agony. And so you just see from like every single, actually those like the mouths on the knee, like little gouts of flame shoot out from every single part of this guy's armor. And you actually see him buckle. Not all the way down to his knees, but his like flamberge, he has to dig into the ground as he stumbles.
Kill you!
As you can just sense now pain combined with that rage. You, holy shit. That
Dude.
was a lot of damage.
Sick.
I was going to have that deal less damage because of his armor, but with a 20, like, no, that's in there.
Yeah, I want to share this too with people who are watching. So I make dice. I make my own dice, and when I roll a nat 20, I don't know if you can see this, but this is my symbol of who I connect with, which is a battle bard. These are battle bard dice. This is a loot axe, so that's exactly what it is. Every time I roll a nat 20, I see this beautiful loot axe looking
Incredible.
upon me. So.
As this like massive explosion of wraith fire, which is this like think like almost magical napalm, is just like the flames are just shooting out in gouts from his armor. And are you that was your turn, right?
That was
your
my turn. Yeah, I just fucking threw it. I'm
He
not gonna
is-
move. I'm not gonna do anything other than that.
He is enraged by what you've just done.
You will taste the blade of the Shadow King himself. I invoke his name.
And as he holds it up, he's going to use Blazing Avenger. And now his blade is going to suddenly explode in this purple, necrotic, like it's flames, but
Sure.
it looks like nothing you've ever seen before. Actually, reminiscent of the tear that he ripped, that void. And so he's going to swing down now with the attack, using his double attack.
Oh God, his double attack.
Okay, so
Okay.
that's going to be a 12 and an 8. I'm going to say his first attack, we're going to do a little reverse of the last one. His first attack, it's like he's still somewhat weakened from the attack, from the Wraith Fire Bomb. So he goes to swing. And I will say, when you're parrying this guy's blows, this isn't like, ching, ching. I mean, it is like a desperate, you're putting all your strength just to get it an inch to your side.
Sure.
Because the force behind this blow is like nothing else you've ever faced. But the loot axe in your hands, strengthened by your magic, by the that which makes you a bard, you knock it off to the side, and out of like rage, he just pulls it back and then does a thrust. You were expecting like another slash, and this one, you're able to move to the side so it doesn't sink into your gut, but every inch of that blade, of that flame blade, tears through, almost like in between two of your ribs, just going along the side of you, cauterizing the wound as it goes, and you're going to take 5 damage due to the additional 1 damage from the Fiery Avenger effect.
Okay. So I will let you know that brings me to 0. And because this hasn't happened yet in our game, when you are brought down to 0 in quest, that is basically your blinking heart. This is, you can die now. And so I'm not dead, but I am on the verge. And what will happen is when he rolls an attack, I must, and deals his damage, I must roll above that in order to continue standing, else lights out.
All right.
So that is where we are at right now.
The crowd roar, they're roaring, and then all of a sudden you just see, you hear as you like you fall down to the ground as that blade, we're gonna say it went right in to your gut. and he pulls it out. The only thing that keeps you from dying instantly is that the blade itself did cauterize the wound on its way out. And you fall to the ground. What is Durian thinking as you fall to your knees? I'm going to say you're not all the way down on the ground unconscious, but you are delirious on the state of about to go out. You can feel the blackness sinking in. What are you thinking in this moment as you see him standing over you looking triumphant?
So I see the lights going. I see, like, this is it for Durian. This was his moment to die in battle gloriously, as all battle bards, not bards, but battle bards in particular do. And I see a young child, cold on the streets of some town, and then I see a smiling face in robes with a playing the panpipes as he passes by me, and I see that moment where he reaches out his hand, pulls me in. I see my fellow younglings being taught at the Order of the Bards. I see the ups and downs of my life, training and seeing my friends who had to be expelled, and I continued forward. And yet I see the face of Mac, his smiling face driving me to the tower that he originally drove to, and me warning him, this is dangerous, you shouldn't go, and he determined to go. And now I see his face in terror. I see Rick just in his rat form, kind of hunched over with his hands wringing, and then flash to his demonic rat form towering above me. All of these things quickly flashing before my eyes, and just before the lights go out, I see Mac was the voice saying, "It's the key. It's the key." That whisper was coming from Mac himself, and that tiny mote of light, energy, whatever it was, as the TV was kind of turning off, begins to expand and expand and expand and expand, and brings me back once again. And I take a deep breath, and I am back in the present.
As you sit there on your knee, like basically collapse to your knees, as Scald looks down at you and says,
I'll admit, you put up more than a fight than I expected. But now, about cutting out that heart.
and as he pulls his sword back, looking like he's getting ready to thrust it into your chest, and you hear the voice of Lucius Graves. Hey, asshole! And you see that he looks to have climbed out of like a hatch of some kind where that elevator was.
Okay.
And he's holding something like you've never seen before. It's some sort of like large black cylindrical, almost like what you might see like a cannon on a ship. And he's holding it over his shoulder. Nobody breaks the rules in my fighting pit. Go to hell. And you see he presses some button on the back and a rocket flies out of this thing. Some sort of result of some gnomish goblet gadgetry, you're not sure, like spinning through the air as Scald turns, slams into his chest, spinning him. You just see like a smoking crater where it hit as he collapses to the ground. And at that moment, you see he's like struggling. You turn and you look up with your last, like your vision is fading. You see Lucius throwing something through the air in your direction.
In my blurred, dizzying vision, I see this explosion, and I look to Lucius, and he's thrown something in my direction, and I, with all of my might, focus to clarify my vision, and I see what it is, and I reach out to catch it.
And as you do, you catch it, and you look in your hand, and it takes you a moment. Your vision fades and comes back. You see a nearly empty syringe with just a little bit of that juice left.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, Give him hell, kid. And pops back down into that hatch he was in as you're holding this syringe that you know has something in it that can, if full, bring you back to full. But
Sure.
with what little that's left, you think it's enough to give you a little bit of something.
Sure. I look dizzily at this this monstrosity that's blown to his back and kind of gathering his composure. And like an EpiPen, I'm going to thrust this into my leg and squeeze the plunger.
And in doing so, you feel that same sort of rush. But this time, it's not a full hit. It's going to bring you up to 4 hit points.
Okay.
It doesn't restore any of your adventures. It's just enough to bring you back. It doesn't heal you in a way. You look down, you just see like it's given you a shot of adrenaline,
Sure.
basically, to keep you going. This is Crank right now. This is
Yeah,
the
yeah.
movie. Like it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
you've got adrenaline rushing through your body.
Straight up an EpiPen. It's just bam.
Yeah, basically. And you hear as Scald is like trying to recover from this massive explosion that just hit him, which really just because of the weakening of his armor due to the wraith fire, you see it blew off one of his pauldrons altogether. And you see that the creature beneath is not an actual creature of any form, is just like shadow that is just wisping away from the armor. And he's like catching his breath, and you hear another voice in your head.
Use me.
I am going to, without hesitation, filled with adrenaline and fury, desperate and angry, draw once again the blink blade, this cursed item I know is destroying me somehow, and I could give a flying fuck. And I draw it from its sheath. I hold it up as though I'm beckoning the crowd once again.
And they start cheering and screaming.
I kneel at this writhing giant in armor, and I place my hand on the side of his helmet, and I say, "You tell the Shadow King I'm coming for him." And I'm gonna plunge this deep into his throat as I bend his helmet, like grabbing one of the horns, thorns, whatever it is on his helmet, these growths, and I'm gonna bend it back and plunge it deep into his, like down past his collarbone, into his heart, lung, whatever I can reach.
You know not the enemy you make in the Shadow King.
As you pull the blade out, you see this like cracks forming in the armor, and there's this bright purple light, and it explodes, shattering into 1,000 pieces. And actually, you take 2 damage
Okay.
as these bits of the armor sink into you, like tearing apart your armor. And you hear that horrible agonizing scream. The dome fades and crackles into nothingness, and this shadowy spirit shoots up out of the armor straight through to the top of the fighting pit roof, where you don't even know where it might go, and then seeps into a crack up above. You don't even have a moment to like really revel in the kill before you look down and you see the blink blade is fully blackened, and it has like smoke coming off of it, and you just hear like,
Yes. So much power. We can do anything.
and you notice now that blackness has actually spread past the blade down your hands. It stops just about halfway down your forearm as your whole hand is blackened. And this arm, there's just tendrils of blackness now going down Durian's arm. And at that moment of like realization, the crowd just loses their mind and starts cheering. And they're screaming, "Durian! Durian!" Durian!
And I imagine this adrenaline shot and this blackness that's covering my arm. As I'm holding this blade, with every bit of strength that I have left in me, reach up into the sky, and it falls out of my hand as I pass out in sheer exhaustion.
Yeah. You pass out to the sounds of your name. One of the greatest things that a battle bard can hear, their name being chanted by 1,000 people, reveling in their victory. You wake up and you don't know how long it's been. Your body feels like it went through a meat grinder. You look down, you see bandages completely covering your torso, red with blood. You can feel with every breath you take, you know you have cracked ribs. You are not in great shape. But sitting by your bed is none other than Lucian Graves.
Hey, about time you woke up, big guy.
Hello there, friend. How long was I out?
Just a couple of days. Nothing, we've seen worse. That sword of his did a number on your innards, but, we got the best healers in town, so, well, outside of the Shadow Walkers Guild, of course, but, look, we had a deal. You fight, and I get you information. But, problem is, bud, I don't really know too much about this Shadow King, but I think I know somebody who does. And he slides you like a card, a business card, and you just see it has like it just has like a little simple picture on one side of what looks to be a loom. Yeah, you're gonna want to talk to the Weaver.
The Weaver, you say?
Yeah. You can tell him I sent you.
Thank you, Lucius. If you would do me one last favor.
Yeah, what's that, bud?
Find me Austin. He is a member of the guild. He may know what to do.
You got it. Why don't you get some rest? Hey, by the way, you killed it out there, kid. Best night we've had in years. Love to have you back anytime you want.
Oh, God. It might be a while. As his stitches begin to pull a little bit with the laughter.
And I think we leave Durian in this scene. I think maybe I think you were awake, but that drowsiness kind of retakes you as you see Lucian getting up and heading out to go and contact this friend of yours. And the last thing you see, I will say, you look down, you see your hand wrapped in gauze, but you see creeping underneath the gauze, the blackness is still there.
Amazing. Yeah, and as the lights fade one last time, as I head back into a dreamlike state, again, I hear the voice of Mac saying, "It's the key. It's the key." As he continues and fades into nothingness. And with that, we are going to leave our story for the night. Wow. Incredible. We threw Nick into just the heat of combat, and he delivered with just the most amazing rounds of combat that I think I've faced in a long time. Nick, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Please let everyone know who you are, what you do, and where they can find you.
Yeah, my name is Nick. You can find me on Twitter, on Twitch, on Instagram at Scry Society. I run monthly TTRPG charity streams using D&D, Kids on Bike, Monster of the Week, and now I've got to do Quest because this
Yeah,
is
you
so
do.
much fun. I'm also the community manager for Shard Tabletop, virtual tabletop for 5th edition D&D. So you'll see me. I run their social media as well. Yeah, I'm just so grateful to have been a part of this, and I am looking forward now to watching the next one and seeing what the next GM does with this, whoever the hell the Weaver is. Shout out to my wife. She helped me come up with that very cool name. I was like, what would be the name of a cool, mysterious NPC who has information?
Yeah.
And she came up with Weaver, so thank you.
The
Hillary.
Weaver.
Yeah.
I can't wait to meet the Weaver. Tell your wife I said thank you.
Yeah.
With that, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. It was a blast, literally, and and I will see you all on another random table. Thanks so much.
Good night.
And that's going to do it for this week's episode of Random Tables. We will not have an episode coming out next week, so we'll see you in 2 weeks. If you like what you see here at Random Tables, maybe check out our other show, Dueling Dungeon Masters. And if you really like what we're doing here at Part-Time Heroes, consider joining our Discord, liking, subscribing, maybe even becoming a patron, or you could even grab some cool swag. I really appreciate you listening, and we will see you next time on another Random Table.